Hi everybody, it's Mike Dixon, creator of Open Your Stories Like a New York Times bestselling author. In the first lesson of this course, we discussed at a high level the importance of having character, setting, conflict, action, and tone firmly established in the beginning of your novel. All of these items packaged together became your promise to the reader for the remainder of your novel. Let's not disappoint and walk through character, conflict, and setting over the next 3 lessons to really nail down those requirements and establish a great opening to your story. In this lesson, we're going to focus on character and introduce conflict as we go along. But we're also going to touch on setting, action, and tone briefly because the examples I'm going to show you are utterly perfect for all of the elements. Let's start with character. Stories need characters. People read because they want to learn about characters in different situations that are similar to their own. Readers cheer for the grandiose lifestyle of the protagonist, and they sneer at the antagonist and his attempts to outsmart the other characters. As authors, one of the most important aspects of your promise to the reader is to provide detailed and complex characters. Through the viewpoint of your character, the reader experiences the ups and downs the author has tossed their way. One key to having a character the reader wants to experience adventure with is to introduce them early. Take a look at the first few sentences of Vince Flynn's American Assassin. Mitch Rapp removed the blindfold from his face and raised his seat back. The brown Ford Taurus sedan rocked its way down a rutted gravel road, twin plumes of dust corkscrewing into the hot August air. The blindfold was a precaution in case he failed, which Rapp had no intention of doing. Wow! Even if you didn't already know that Flynn's character Mitch Rapp was a highly trained gun for the CIA, you definitely have a clue that this is one complex character. Right from the start, he's blindfolded in a car for his own protection, and his internal thought shows he isn't even worried about failing in whatever it is he's supposed to be doing. I don't know about you, but for most people who are blindfolded in a car for their own protection, wish for little else but to get out of that situation. It's a great example of the beginning of a complex character that was introduced at the opening. Did you also notice Flynn included conflict, action, and setting? There was some tone in there as well. He's a master of creating complex characters his readers wanted to follow. So we got to look at a complex character from that opening paragraph. Now let's look at the conflict. Now let's take a quick look at the action. As I mentioned in our first video, you want to have the character moving. Using just a few words, Flynn shows us his character Mitch Rapp is literally moving forward as he raised his seat back while he's in a car that rocked its way down the road. Now check out Flynn's use of setting. What can we tell by what he's shown us? Flynn only really gives us what we need to know right now and nothing more. Rapp is in the seat of a car going down a rutted gravel road, which certainly means he's not in the city or a suburb, but likely, some part of the country, and that might even be outside of the United States. And then Flynn concludes his setting by showing us the time of year by mentioning the hot August air. Now, how about tone? Flynn finishes a perfectly written paragraph by setting the tone for his novel and character. We know Mitch Rapp is into something deep for having to be blindfolded for his safety. But it doesn't matter to Rapp because he has no intention of failing on his mission. As you can see, Flynn uses character, conflict, setting, action, and tone perfectly, and all in one paragraph. He was a brilliant author, and all his books only intensified as they went on. If you're a thriller writer, you definitely want to research Vince Flynn's books. He was a master. Here's another example of an author who I personally think has the best opening lines of any detective fiction and always orients the reader to the character, conflict, and setting at the start. For this example, though, we're going to look at character only. Here's the first line of John Sandford's Eyes of Prey. That's it. It's short and sweet. He brings in character right from the start, creates conflict describing Carlo Druas as a stone killer, and guess what else he's done? He makes the reader ask this question within one sentence. What is this Carlos Druas guy up to? It's just another example of how a New York Times bestselling author gets it done. I could have pulled dozens of examples from my library that are similar, but I think you get the point. Authors can't afford to put off introducing their characters. Readers need complex characters so they have someone they can care about. They want to witness change in that character, whether you begin with a protagonist like Flynn did or the antagonist like Stanford. So I beat this character introduction thing enough for now. But what I want to do is point out one more thing as character relates to conflict and setting. Readers could care less where your book is set and what kind of peril your character is in at the beginning of the book until you've introduced that character and given them a reason to care about them. No matter how important the setting is, readers could almost skim by until they find someone to associate it with. Then and only then does the reader take a moment to understand the setting and the peril the character finds themselves in. If in a few sentences or less, you've given the reader a reason to care about the character like Flynn did with Mitch Rapp being blindfolded in the back of a Taurus, the reader's experience is heightened as they allow setting, conflict, and action to be a part of their experience. In our next lesson, we're going to jump into setting and help you understand what it takes to develop a clear setting for your reader so they aren't left wondering where the action is taking place. We'll see you there. These lights are hot. I feel like I'm melting.